Okay, I have to start with this. $279
For one cable.
for one HDMI cable. We're doing a deep dive on the Key Digital KD AOCH33P today. And I mean, you can go online right now and find a 30-foot cable for 20 bucks.
You absolutely can.
So why? Why on earth would anyone pay nearly $300?
It's a fair question. And honestly, if you're just plugging a laptop into a monitor on your desk, you wouldn't.
Right.
But this isn't for a desk. This is a 33-foot, 10-meter active optical cable.
Mm-hmm.
And at that kind of length, well, that's when the laws of physics start to get in the way for standard copper wire.
So you're saying a normal cable just
Yeah.
what it gives up after a certain distance?
It's not so much that it gives up, it's that the signal gets messy, especially with the kind of bandwidth we're talking about now.
High bandwidth, like for 4K video.
Exactly. You're trying to push 18 gigabit per second. Think about the data stream inside that cable. It's called TMDS.
I've seen that acronym, TMDS, but I'll be honest, I usually just gloss over it.
Most people do. But think of it like this. You're trying to send a really complex, fast-paced message down a very long hallway.
Okay.
With a standard copper cable over 10 meters, that message starts to get smeared. The electrical pulses blur. Those sharp digital ones and zeros, they become mushy blobs.
And that's when you get the sparkles on your screen, or worse, just nothing.
That's the one. The dreaded black screen, the failed handshake. So this Key Digital cable, it ditches the copper for the important stuff. It uses fiber optics.
Ah, so it converts the electrical signal into pulses of light.
Precisely. And photons don't suffer from resistance and smearing the way electrons in copper do.
Yeah.
That's how they can guarantee what they call open-eye technology.
Right, open eye. That sounded a bit like marketing fluff when I first read it. Is there real engineering behind that?
Oh, yeah. It refers to a very real test on an oscilloscope. If you overlay all the digital signals, a clean one creates a shape that looks like a wide open eye.
And a bad one.
A bad one from a cheap, long copper cable looks squinted or totally shut.
Right.
The data is a mess. So Key Digital is basically certifying that the signal coming out is identical to the signal going in.
Which explains why it's treated more like, well, like infrastructure, not just an accessory.
It is infrastructure.
And speaking of running it through walls, that brings up the other big spec on the box. Plenum rated.
And this is huge. This is where we stop talking about signal safety and start talking about actual human safety.
Well, human safety. How?
So a plenum space is the area above a drop ceiling, where air circulates for the HVAC system.
Got it.
Now imagine a fire. A standard plastic cable jacket melts. It releases these incredibly toxic fumes.
And the HVAC system, oh no, it would pump that smoke into every room in the building.
Into every single room. It's a genuinely terrifying scenario.
Okay.
So this cable's jacket, because it's CMP or plenum rated, is made of a special fire-retardant low-smoke material. It's mandatory for commercial installs, but it's just smart for any high-end home installation too.
But isn't the fiber optic glass itself, super fragile?
It is, which is why this thing is built like a tank.
Yeah.
The connector head has, I think, a 53-pound pull strength.
53 pounds. So an installer yanking it through a conduit can't just snap the head off.
They'd have to try really hard. It's built to survive that process. But there is one very important quirk you have to know about.
I did see this. It's directional, right? The heads are labeled source and display.
That's right. Because it's not just a passive wire. It's an active device. There are microchips inside those heads.
To do the conversion to light and then back to electricity?
Exactly. One end has a tiny laser to transmit. The other has a photodetector to receive. If you plug it in backwards,
You get nothing.
a very expensive black screen. But the upside is it handles all the heavy lifting formats, HDR10, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, without needing some bulky external power brick.
It just pulls the power it needs from the HDMI port itself.
Just a tiny sip of voltage. It makes the whole complex electro-optical system completely invisible to the user. You just get the bandwidth you paid for.
It really reframes how you look at setting up a system. We all spend hours researching the TV panel, the projector, the receiver specs.
The fun stuff.
The fun stuff, yeah. And then we connect it all with the cheapest possible link we can find.
It's the classic irony, isn't it? You buy a Ferrari, but decide to drive it exclusively on roads full of potholes.
You're just choking the performance with a cheap pipe.
That's it. This cable, it's not just a pipe. It's a private, perfectly paved superhighway for your data.
A nearly $300 superhighway. But I guess if it saves you from having to tear open your drywall in 2 years because that $20 cable finally failed, maybe it's a bargain after all.
In the world of professional integration,